So, the first step in making karatals is measuring them. In order to measure them, we'll need a piece of paper, a centimeter tape or a ruler, and a circle. Usually, karatals are the size of the palm. Means if you want your karatals to look proportional for your deities, you need to measure their palms. Let's assume that the deities that I'm making karatals for have 2 centimeter palms. It means that I need to take a circle and measure 1 centimeter with it. A circle measures half of the diameter you need, half of the size of the palm. The next step is outlining the shapes of our future karatals. We're taking the circle with the desired radius and make a nice and bright circle with it, like this. And a little bit away from the first one, from the first circle, we outline the second one. So the texture of the paper is such that it's very difficult to work with polymer clay on it. That's why we need to take a piece of tape, a transparent piece of tape, and put it on the top of the sketch we made. Yeah, carefully. Yeah, so now we have a nice and perfect surface that we can work with polymer clay on. Now it's time to mold the shapes of future karatals. I usually make items from polymer clay or epoxy putty or epoxy compound. Yeah, today I will show you how to work with polymer clay because in my opinion it's the most convenient material to work with. The first step in making the molds for our future karatals is measuring how much polymer clay we will need. For that, you need to take a small piece of polymer clay and make a circle with it. The circle needs to be around 2 or 3 millimeters high. Of course, it all depends on the size of the karatals you make. It has to look proportional. It can't be too thin because you'll shape it, and if the layer of polymer clay is too thin, it might break. Also, it can't be too thick because then it won't look elegant. So my piece was too thick, so I am measuring it again after removing a small piece of polymer clay for it. Yeah. If the polymer clay you're working with, you feel that it's hard, then you might need to warm it up a little bit, yeah, just by rolling it with your hands. So now, because we're making 2 symmetrical items, we will need to make a second ball that is of exactly the same size as the first one. So we have measured the perfect amount for our karatal. And now we need to make a second ball of exactly the same size. The most convenient way to measure materials for symmetrical items is making balls from it, because balls are, the size of the balls is obvious. Yeah, you can look at them, and if you see that the diameter of one ball is more than the diameter of another one, yeah, you see that there's too much polymer clay here and you can remove a small piece and roll a ball again until the balls are of the same size. Yeah, as you can see, the balls I've made are of the same size, and I'm ready to shape the karatals. So I press them, and here you need to make sure that the polymer clay is evenly spread, not like here. Here it's wrong, like here. It's evenly spread on the surface. So I spread this one a bit more as well. Yeah, I feel that I have too much polymer clay here. So now we are ready to shape them. In order to do that, you will need something like a pen or a brush with a cone on the end. You can also make a cone from polymer clay yourself. Yeah, I've made a cone like this. In order to shape karatals, it's really convenient. Otherwise, if you don't want to make something in advance, you can use a paintbrush or a circle. Yeah, you see it also has a nice conish shape. Yeah, and use it. We find the center of the shape we've made, of the circle we've made, and put our cone in the center and press it a little bit. We press it around halfway through the polymer clay. And then we repeat the process on the other side. Put it in the center and press it a little bit. Yeah, polymer clay is a really nice and soft material, so if something goes wrong, it's easy to fix it. Now we need to remove the shapes from the paper. You can do it carefully with your fingers, or you can use a paper knife. And we put the shape on the cone or on the pen, on the paintbrush, and press it a little bit. On all sides. Yeah, I carefully turn it around in my hands, pressing polymer clay to the cone a little bit. And now, when it's ready, I can remove the cone. Yeah, you could do the same thing with the circle. Put it, press it, etc. Yeah, if you're planning to make a cone from polymer clay, it's baked already. It's hard. If you make a cone from soft clay, then it will just stick to the karatal, and you wouldn't be able to remove it from the inside of the karatal. I'll press it a little bit more. And put it back on the outline we've made. Because while you're making a karatal, yeah, it's still in your hands and it loses its symmetry, and you need to return it back to the outline you've made, you know, to bring it back to a perfect circle. Yeah, I won't take your time with making the second one. You can just repeat the process yourself. Yeah, but now you can take a sculpting tool or a paper knife, and if the polymer clay comes out of the sketch you've made, you can press it back a little bit and bring the karatal back to a perfect circle. Also, as you know, the karatals get thinner towards the ends. That's why you can press the sculpting tool like this. Yeah, just repeating the shape of the karatal and making the polymer clay thinner and thinner towards the edge of the karatal. With nice and light movements. You can also use water if you need to. A polymer clay is compatible with a little bit of water. Okay. My perfect circle is ready. Now that we've finished making the shapes for karatals, it is time to decorate them with different patterns. For decorations, you can use either a paper knife or a wooden stick or a stamp. You can make a stamp yourself from polymer clay. Yeah, so with a paper knife we can make triangles. Yeah, like you see this pattern on karatals very often with triangles that are facing the top of a karatal. You can make them, this is just an example. You can make them by cutting them carefully with a paper knife like this. Just slightly pressing it into the polymer clay. Or you can decorate karatals with circles. It's also a very common pattern. Circles that are following the shape of a karatal. Like this. You can make them in the same way by pressing the paper knife slightly into the polymer clay like this. You can make 2 circles next to each other like this. Basically you can just turn on your imagination and create something unique and beautiful. Right now I'm going to decorate my karatals using a stamp that I've showed you before. Before using it, and also before making shapes that are you're repeating several times, we need to mark the places for them. For that I'll need a sculpting tool. I'll just mark slightly where I'm going to make a pattern, and then the same distance away from each other. You can use a ruler or a centimeter tape if you need to, if you don't trust your eyesight. So that's it. I'm going to make 5 patterns with the stamp. It looks like this, like a star basically. You do the same thing on another karatal, because they are symmetrical, means they need to have the same pattern and the same amount of design. And then we start using the stamp. So you just carefully press it into the polymer clay, but make sure that its top is directed towards the center and not to the side, because if you put it to the side, it wouldn't look good. We press it, it's facing up, and then I carefully remove it, and it leaves a mark like this. Personally, I like decorating karatals with stamps the most, because it looks really elegant, elaborate. It looks royal. Also make sure that you're pressing with the same strength, so that one pattern isn't deeper than the other. I wouldn't show you the second karatal because it's basically the same process. I'll do it later so that I don't take too much of your time. Now I will decorate the edge of our karatal with a wooden stick. You can also use a needle if you don't have a stick with a sharp end. But basically you can just press it inside the polymer clay and make nice, beautiful circles here. Just make sure they're in the same line. You don't need to press too hard. Pressing around 1 millimeter inside is enough. Also, like there are varieties of patterns you can make with a wooden stick. For example, you can make something like this, like a drop Yeah, pressing it harder here and then moving it upwards. Yeah, pressing it and moving it upwards. Like this. You can also use this pattern in karatals, but yeah, I think what I did is enough. And yeah, I think the design for this karatal is finished. And now we move on to the next step. It's making the hole for the thread. So how do we remove a karatal so that we don't harm the shape of it? For this I use a paper knife. I carefully put it up away from the paper. I kind of cutting it away from the surface. From all sides. And it's ready. Now we turn it over. Yeah, here if you need to fix something inside the karatal, you can carefully do that because yeah, if you press too hard, you'll ruin the design that we've made. Yeah, so be really careful and don't press it too much. And now, for the next part, for making the hole, we'll need a needle. Here is my needle. Yeah, you can use a sharp end or another end. Yeah, and here, yeah, you mark the center and you pull it through. You can also turn it around a little bit to make the hole bigger. You can even put it back, and now that you've put the needle through, you can move it around, yeah, to make the hole for the thread bigger, because karatals usually look better when they have more thread of different colors, and that's why we need quite a big hole. Also depends on the size of karatals you're making. Yeah, so if you're making tiny karatals, big hole just wouldn't look proportional. Yeah, but I think for my karatals, this size is really good, and I'll be able to easily pull the thread through. So now the karatals are ready, and it's time to bake them. Each polymer clay has a different temperature and a different time that is needed to be baked thoroughly. My polymer clay needs to be baked for 30 minutes and 130 degrees Celsius. So now carefully, yeah, doing the same thing, yeah, cutting a karatal from the paper. We can move it like this to the baking sheet and bake it. So I'll put my karatals into the oven now, and I'll get back to you soon. So you have some time now. While the karatals are baking, you can pause the video, go to the kitchen, put your karatals in the oven, and in the meantime, listen about the amazing surprise that we have prepared for everyone who watches this video in the first 48 hours after it's been uploaded. As you know, we're in Italy Lab, the first training in deity painting and making items for your deities. And we have already launched 3 successful courses and 2 different languages on these topics, and we've taught more than 200 students. Yeah, right now I want to show you feedback that we got from our students. Yeah, from 4 of them. Yeah, we get so many photos and so many beautiful comments from our students. Yeah, but right now we don't have time, so I'll show you just a few. Hey, here is the deity of Radharani that was painted by one of our students, Bhavani Machji. Yeah, and I think she's beautiful. I think this deity is beautiful. And yeah, it just warms my heart to see our students to paint deities like this. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Yeah, here is another comment from another student of ours. These are the first deities that she has ever painted, the first ones, and she painted them for the temple. I think it was Janmashtami or another holiday that she painted them for, and I mean, it's such a mercy, yeah, being able to offer your service to the temple deities like this as your first experience in deity painting. This is another pair of deities that was painted by another student of ours, Janavi Machji. And yeah, I think they're beautiful. Look at their eyes. Such good color transitions, right? And this photo is from one of our last students. She has recently finished this beautiful Gaurani tie. Yeah, her name is Lolita. And yeah, they're amazing. Again, she painted them for the temple. And so, as you can see, devotees really find these courses useful. It really helps them to be able to serve the temple deities, the deities of other devotees. And it's a beautiful experience for us and for them as well. So we as a team have prepared a completely new product. Yeah, this is something else. This is not a course. This is something that has never ever happened in the Vaishnava world, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I think you trust us as a brand. I think you see that we have really brought a lot, yeah, to our students, that we have taught them and that they're successful in this service. We are really trying to help the devotees. And I think that those of you who are watching this video really trust us. So believe us, this product is going to be something else. It's going to be really, really special. It's going to have education, plus it's going to have mentorship, personal mentorship from us. Plus, it's going to have communications between each other for the community of the devotees who join us. Yeah, it's good, like it's going to be useful for the new bhaktas who just joined, and they will get a lot of experience from the senior Vaishnavas that are going to be in the group. Yeah, and it's going to be useful for those, yeah, who has practiced, who has joined ISKCON a long time ago. Yeah, because they will still learn something new. Yeah, and we'll have more. We're expanding the team. We are expanding. Yeah. So all of you who trust us and who watches this video have an opportunity to get access to this product just for $10. Yeah, I mean, that's like, we've never sold anything that cheap. Yeah, all of you who wrote to me, oh, I want to go for a course, I want to take your classes, yeah, but I don't have Lakshmi. Yeah, this is an amazing opportunity to learn something from us and get a lot of knowledge from us just for $10. Yeah, so you'll find the link in the description. You'll find the link in our bio, I think. Or if you don't find the link, just text us, send us a direct message on Instagram or in WhatsApp or in Telegram. Yeah, get the link and use this opportunity. After 48 hours, the price will rise. it will rise at least, it will be at least 2 times higher or even more. So we are really grateful to the loyal devotees who trust us and who believe in us, and that's why we're giving you this amazing discount. Now please use it, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the lesson. I think your karatalas might have baked, and you can keep watching the lesson and finish your beautiful karatals. So the karatals are ready. They're straight from the oven. Once they have cooled down, we can start painting them. So for painting, we'll need a glass with water, a paintbrush, a round paintbrush number 2 or 3 is gonna be good. And for creating delicate patterns, we'll need a thin round brush, 000 or 00. As for the paints, we'll need gold paint, bronze paint, and black. I use acrylic paints for painting karatals. Yeah, in my opinion, they're the best. They dry really fast and they give a nice glow, metallic glow, and it looks beautiful. So let's start. I mix the paint, by shaking the bottle. Make sure you shake the bottle well. Why I don't use only gold paint? Because I want to create natural looking karatals, and they have nice shading. In order for them to look natural, we need to shade the designs and the inside parts of the karatals. Now I'll need a little bit of black, that's why I'm taking just a tiny drop of black. Okay, I'll start with gold. Metallic paints are usually a bit transparent. That's why it's better to coat them in a few layers. Coat the item that you're making in a few layers. I'll put it on paper and cover this bit on paper. Don't take too much paint because we have designs. When we have small tiny details, small designs, it's better not to use too much paint, because the paint will get inside the holes, inside those designs, and they wouldn't be so visible. That's why it's better to use a really thin layer of paint. And also because we need to cover karatals from both sides, both the top and the inside part of the karatals. Now we'll need to wait and let them dry. Let the top layer dry first and then paint the inside part of the karatals. So I have coated karatals with the first layer of paint. As you can see, it's a bit transparent. So we'll leave them to dry and coat them in another layer soon. The second layer of paint has dried, and it's time to paint the inside parts of the karatals. For that, we'll need bronze paint and black paint and gold paint. So we start by taking a little bit of black paint and mixing it with bronze. Yeah, as a result, we'll get this kind of dark bronze color. And we paint the the deepest part of the karatals with it. Like this. This color ends here. Yeah. And then it transforms into a lighter shade, means bronze color. Yeah, we make a color transition from this dark bronze, almost black, into bronze color. You don't need to make the bronze line really thick. It's enough to make a thin line like this. And then we clean the brush in water, wipe it with a paper towel, and continue with gold color. We take gold color and mix it with bronze color. Yeah, we mix by overlapping the previous color like in 1 millimeter. Yeah, we're overlapping bronze just by 1 millimeter with a movement like this, like a circular movement like this. And as a result, bronze and gold mix and we get a beautiful color transition. Then for the rest of the karatals, we don't need to shade anything. Yeah, we just keep painting them with gold paint. Yeah, we just cover it nicely, thoroughly with gold paint. You might need to put 2 or 3 layers of gold paint as well. And usually the inside part doesn't need 2 or 3 layers. 1 layer is usually enough because darker paints have a better covering ability than the light paints. Yeah, like for example, when I cover the hair of the deity, 1 layer of black paint is enough. But when I cover the eyes or copings or Brahmana threads, I usually need to put 2 or 3 layers of white to do that nicely. So the first layer has dried and it's time to coat karatals with the second layer. Also, remember to keep it really, really thin. And pay attention to the places where there's no enough paint, where you can see the polymer clay. Pay attention to those spots. Yeah, 2 layers is enough for me. Yeah, it also depends on the paint you're using, on the trademark of the paint you're using. Yeah, some paints need to be applied in more coats than the others. So you can put the video on pause again and let the second layer dry. And once it dries, we'll continue and paint the inside part of the karatals. Okay, now is the time to paint all the intricate details and designs to also give them a nice natural look. So usually the parts that are deeper inside are darker. So in order to get a natural look, we'll need to paint those parts that are deeper with bronze paint. Yeah, just follow the pattern you made. If you made a triangle or a circle, yeah, just follow this pattern and cover the circle with bronze. Yeah, if you use the stamp, just follow the pattern of the stamp with bronze paint. Yeah, you can also add something like I add this little curls here. I just like curls. If something goes wrong, if the curl you made like me is too thick, you can fix it with gold paint. Yeah, and you just repeat the same thing over and over again until all the patterns you've made are covered with bronze paint. And until the karatal is ready. This is basically the last step in painting. Also, if you made dots, you can also put a drop of bronze color inside of each dot. If you don't have bronze paint, you can also mix gold and black. It's no problem. And so basically just repeat this simple algorithm until everything is ready. Yeah, pause the video, take your time to make a karatal look nice and neat. And I'll see you on the next step. The karatals might look ready, but they're not. Doesn't matter what paint you're using, even if it's enamels. If the paint is not varnished, it wouldn't last long. That's why it is absolutely necessary to varnish any item that you make. Yeah, the deities that you paint, ice that you paint, yeah, everything needs to be varnished. Basically, the gold coated the items that are coated with metallic paints need to be covered with either 2-component varnish or shellac. These are the best varnishes for them. Yeah, but if you don't have them, you can use a spray varnish, etc. Yeah, if you don't have anything and you don't mind your karatals getting ruined after a few uses, you can even coat it with nail polish, with a transparent nail polish. Yeah, I'll use shellac. Yeah, it needs a special UV lamp to dry. Yeah, but just remember, when you are coating, when you're varnishing, use a really thin layer because it's metallic paint, and if you put a layer that is too thick, it wouldn't look natural. it wouldn't look as gold and shiny as it does. And remember, a really thin layer of varnish. And if you're coating, when you're coating actually, remember to coat the karatals from both sides, one side at a time. You can choose any side to coat first, so I'm coating the top of the karatals first. You can coat the bottom first as well. And then after you've coated the first half, you need to let it dry before coating the other half. Because when you have covered the top, you put it dries, and then you'll need to put it upside down so that the other side dries. And if this side hadn't dried yet, the paint will get smudged and the karatals would be ruined. That's why one side at a time, let it dry, then turn it upside down, cover the other side and let it dry as well. And only after that we can move on to the next step into adding the needles, to pulling through the thread. So pause the video again, take some time, coat your karatals, let them dry, and move on into the next step. Okay, I know it's sad, but we've come to the last step in making karatals. They're varnished, they're painted, and they're almost ready to be offered to the Lord. The only thing that's left is the thread for the Lord to hold them. Okay, you can take thread of any color. I've taken a multicolored. I've just taken one thread of each color that I have, and I've put them together. You can take one color and add a gold thread, like I did here. Gold mixed with some colors always looks good. But basically it's up to you, up to your creativity. You can create anything you want. So because there is a lot of thread, I've taken some clean water and I've put it on the end of the thread in order to pull it through the needle. Because it's really difficult to put so many threads through the needle. Okay, we might spend half an hour watching me pulling those threads through, but I'll do my best. You can even pull them one by one. I do that sometime. You see, there's only one thread that didn't pull through. I move them to the bottom. All the threads. And then I pull that one through as well. Ready. Wow. It didn't even take me 5 minutes. Okay. So now we're pulling them through the hole, from the outer part to the inner part. And now we need to tie a knot. I usually take a really long thread so that I have space to make to move a karatal and make a nice and beautiful and strong knot. It's just a usual knot. I don't make some special ones here. I just tie a knot 2 or 3 times depending on the size of the hole. Ready. And then just to be safe, I take super glue and put 1 drop onto the knot so that it never unties itself. Yeah, be careful when working with super glue. Ready? And then after you've put the glue, you can cut the remaining thread, pull the knot back inside the karatal, pull a little bit, yeah, to make sure that the knot is big enough and strong enough. Yeah, and then yeah, you can cut the threads of whatever size you need. And at this step, you can also braid the threads if you need to, if you want a nice braided thread here. It looks neat, it looks nice. You can do that, or you can leave them like this. Yeah, it also looks good. Yeah, you can pull them apart a bit. Yeah, so that I go like this. Yeah, and that's it. The karatals are ready. Thank you so much for your attention, and I really hope that this lesson was useful for you. Yeah, leave comments. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to our page yet, click on that red button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we'll be posting more and more useful lessons.